friends, and welcome. It's Sunday night. You know what that means? It's time for the Icon Cup Series live iRacing on VirtualRacing.Network. Tonight, we're at the famed hollowed Brickyard. That's right, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This time it's the oval. That's right, going a little different than the real life series does this week. It's the Icon Brickyard 200. That's right, the legendary 2.5 mile oval. Hopefully the real life series can get back to it at some point in the future. 80 laps overall and about 25 laps in the first stage. It's race number 6 of the Icon Cup Series inaugural season, and I'm Trevor Greenfield with you as always, and joining me in the booth, thank goodness he's back, but it was a lot of fun with Vincent Arthur last week. This week, it's Christian Snyder, the team owner in the Icon Cup Series and avid sim racer. Christian, welcome back, and what do you have in store for us tonight for the Icon Cup Series here at the Brickyard?
Oh, I absolutely love this track. I can't wait to see how these guys handle it tonight. Seems a little bit loose, but these guys should be able to get through it pretty easily. It's a very unique track. It's one of the only tracks, I think maybe the only track that NASCAR goes to that has a golf course inside of it as we're hovering over it here. It also has a road course inside of it, so it's a very unique track, but these guys are running the oval here tonight. It's a little hot, but I think these guys will keep their tempers cool tonight.
Well, last week, of course, it was an absolute barn burner out there, and we're of course talking about the Michigan International Speedway, where there was more passing than we could even comment on, and we could hardly keep up with who was making what passes out there. But of course, it was Scott Patton who took the race victory. Congratulations to him on his first Icon Cup Series victory and putting himself into the playoffs of the Icon Cup Series in its inaugural season. So with that, Brian Smith, he's on a tear getting these pole positions. Is he perhaps going to do so tonight? Let's find out as we're just about to see some of these cars head out there on track. One interesting car of note that is brand new in the field here tonight, and that is, if you are familiar with the NORA Cup and Truck Series, which we also cover here on VirtualRacing.Network, you certainly know the name Vincent Arthur, and of course you would recognize him from last week doing the co-commentary here for the Icon Cup Series. Well, he said he was kind of chuckling about it. I didn't know how serious he was. He said he might give it a shot. There he is in his brand new ride, the number 34 Chevy. The New You Nutrition, racing for just, I guess, himself. He's independent this week. And Christian, he was Tuesday night's winner at Michigan International Speedway. This is a pretty big deal to have Vincent Arthur, the points leader of the NORA Cup Series, joining the Icon Cup Series out there tonight.
Yeah, he did a great job filling in for me for 1 week while I was on vacation. So he decided to switch roles, come out on track, and me go back into the booth. So I'm going to be interested to see how he does here over in this league. Everyone has an adjustment period in every league, so interesting to see what he's going to do. It looks like this first lap of qualifying, he's not going to go full power. He's going to just warm up the tires and wait for the second lap to be his hot lap, which is kind of smart, as we see Brian Smith coming to start his, I believe, first lap here of qualifying. We'll have to see.
Christian, why don't you go ahead and take us through this first hot lap and let us know what you see.
With this track, you want to get as low as you can in all the corners. There's 4 corners here, which is, they're distinguishable corners. Most tracks you got basically 2 corners where it's wide and sweeping. As we look at the track map on your screen, there's basically a small straightaway in between each corner, and then 2 long straightaways. So as we go into this corner, it's heavy braking, getting down to the bottom here. Maybe not necessarily too heavy with these cars, but the old cars, you used to have to brake pretty hard to get into the corners and get a good run. But these cars, you just want to arc the corner, get right on the bottom, and then let it drift up to the wall. And drafting is going to be everything here. This entire front straightaway You're going to see cars breaking the draft, going the whole way to the inside wall, 3-4 wide possibilities. It's going to be really interesting. Never seen this track with this car, so interesting to see how it handles.
And we've seen that a lot this season, where the previous generation car for the NASCAR Cup Series has been very capable and held its own out there, held grip in plenty of the corners. This car, I've used the term prima donna before, and definitely that seems to be the case more often than not, getting loose on these guys, either entering or exiting the corners. How about Brendan Jinks for Full Send Esports getting in second fastest there? You saw it also just a moment ago. Justin Michael for Average Joe Motorsports getting in third fastest. Here's Scott Patton, last week's winner for Bandit Motorsports, just about to, I guess he's just put in his first lap and now coming around on his second lap. So he's going to be about fifth fastest. Brian Smith, he's used to taking pole positions, but not this week. I think it might be Justin Michael. Here's Ronnie Norman just completing his laps as well. He's just put in a couple of laps, and we'll see if anybody else is still out there. We got Kevin Gunther for the Detach House's Speed, currently shown in 19th place, just completing that second lap now. We'll see what he can do here on the second lap, and as he rolls it across the line. Is he going to improve from that 19th? Oh, just one position into 18th. Here's Kyle Gilbert, 28-year-old out of Kentucky, racing for Renville Racing.
He was fast in practice. Going to be interesting to see where he slots in on this lap here.
Well, he does bring it down as low as he can, just like you were talking about, Christian, and all the way out to the wall on exit. He's going to roll that thing across the yard of bricks. See where that puts him in the field. How about 15th fastest? That's not a bad effort from him. And it looks like Evan Patinko is not going to get a chance to get into the field in qualifying, so that's going to do it for him. And that means that it will, in fact, be, as we get set here to go over the official grid for you. Pole position tonight at the Brickyard for round number 6, the Brickyard 200 for the Icon Cup Series. Justin Michael for Average Joe Motorsports taking his first pole position of the season. Starting alongside him will be Brian Smith. Congratulations to Brian getting yet another front row start here in the Icon Cup Series. Nathan Finnegan going to be starting in third spot for Collar City Racing, and alongside him will be Brendan Jinks. Starting just behind will be Adam Ball for Collar City Racing and Scott Patton. And then you've got Ronnie Norman for Harper Motorsports and Jacob Smith for 313 Motorsports. Jovi Ray back in the field here this week, and that could also spell danger for some of these drivers, as he has already taken victory here in the Icon Cup Series. Currently going to be starting 9th place, and alongside will be Brock Hersey for Electric City Racing. Starting 11th, Ryan Patty for the Detach House of Speed, and next to him, Timmy Harper from Harper Motorsports. Justin Bissonette for Collar City Racing will be starting alongside Christopher Howell for Average Joe Motorsports. Starting in 15th place, Kyle Gilbert for Renville Racing, and Vincent Arthur going to be starting there in that independent role. So used to seeing him lined up with his teammates over in Nora. Then we've got Cody Height alongside him in 18th place. 19th will be Kevin Gunther, and 20th will be Sean Purcell. 21st, Evan Patinko, as he did not get in a qualifying effort, and Cody Eldred. And starting 23rd, Jamie Lee Dunning and Brad Slagle. And seeing that perhaps of these drivers are going to be starting a little bit out of order of what you see on your screen. Stephen Tuck, next to Anthony Campbell, Mike Jennings, and Tanner Dio, and Thomas Taylor, Jacob Langlays, and Hanover Fist is going to be starting last in 31st. Christian, what are we looking at in terms of hitting tonight and fuel mileage?
Some of the drivers said that they can get about 30 laps on fuel, but some were only getting 28, so it depends on how much you save. So I would say anywhere between 25 to maybe 32 laps on a tank of fuel. So they should have enough for the first stage caution coming out on lap 25.
Well, that is exciting, and we get ready and set for tonight's action. Of course, we're so grateful to have you with us here on VirtualRacing.Network. As always, thank you so much for watching. We got so many of you watching along. Be glad to chat with you as the race goes on tonight. We're just about to get the green flag here from these drivers. Justin Michael brings it down to the start-finish line, and we are underway here at Indianapolis. Brian Smith and Justin Michael, they're trying to fight it out for that top spot. Nobody giving an inch, still side by side through one. They exit the corner still side by side as they march into turn 2. Nathan Finnegan sitting just behind, watching this side-by-side battling, and they're still side-by-side onto the backstretch.
Yeah, too wide through these corners is pretty risky, so a lot of the field going to get single file, but the guys up front saying, hey, I want to lead this lap, and they're pushing it as hard as they can, but you can see Finnegan, he's going to back off and try to slide in as we got a caution now.
Well, we've got a few cars around here. That's Cody Height and Tim Harper, teammates, getting into the middle of an incident, and I believe Hanover Fist just getting through that. Cody Eldred perhaps caught up in the middle of that one. So here we are on lap 1, already seeing some issues, and this type of a track, it's a lot tighter than it looks out there, and perhaps that's part of the problem.
Yeah, we'll have to see what caused this. We know it started with Tim Harper around in the wall. He's 3 wide there. Can't tell who that's with, maybe Brock Hersey, and then he just squeezes him into the wall and goes around. It's almost like Harper did not know that he had someone to his outside there, and Cody Height gets collected, someone gets into the back of him there, and it's just a chain reaction.
Height got absolutely punted there at the end. We'll have to see if we can get in a little bit closer to the action and see exactly what took place here. It's Harper racing for position on the backstretch 3 wide, and you're right, it just looks like he doesn't even know somebody's still there. That's the I believe that's the, could be the 50, it's either the 24 of Brock Hersey, the 54 of Jamie Lee Dunning. I think it's the 24 of Hersey. Let's see what that looked like on board with Harper. There's
yeah,
the
you can see he's going underneath the 24 and then just kind of drifts up the track into him and stays connected until he goes around. That one's an interesting one.
Indeed.
Man, that was a hard hit for Cody Height.
That is a huge hit. Let's back it up.
I believe that's the 57.
I'm going to take one more look at this one from Height's point of view. This is what he saw on board with Height. And next thing you know, you're staring at the team boss there, and then you're backwards. Took quite a lick there. So I'm not sure if that machine is going to see a lot of damage repair on pit road. But we're already under caution here. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've got a number of cars in the pit. Stephen Tuck taking repair. Anthony Campbell in the number 73. I know he has some fans over in our YouTube chat room. Brock Hersey taking on some damage repair, I believe. Jacob Smith and Tim Harper still sitting on pit road at the moment, along with Cody Height. Now, Christian, good news is, though, even though it looks like Height is now going down a lap, and Taylor might be going down a lap here as well. This is a nice long lap, so you can get a lot of damage repair done, but it does look like these drivers are already going to lose a lap.
Yeah, which isn't too much of a big deal because they know a caution's going to come out for sure at lap 25. So if they're only one lap down, they can get the lucky dog or perhaps a wave around if they choose to stay out at the stage break. So it's a good track to go a lap down at. But I think these guys are going to try pulling away. The 57 doesn't. But Cody Height, I think, is underway and pulling down pit road already.
So
I believe he's going to beat the pace truck. He does.
Let's see if Height able to do so. Yes, indeed, he does get out, and he is rolling down the backstretch there, well in front of pace truck driver, as is Timmy Harper. As you can see the field there just in the background, so Tim Harper will get around. So, this is absolutely wonderful to have so many of you joining us here, breaking all kinds of records. We appreciate it so much here on VirtualRacing.Network. If you want to catch all the great action here, of course, you'll want to see tomorrow night the NORA Truck Series just beginning their playoff season. It's something you won't want to miss from Lucas Oil, IRP. You will not want to miss that. That'll be tonight, or tomorrow night, excuse me, right here on VirtualRacing.Network. And Tuesday night is the NORA Cup Series, NASCAR Next Gen action, which, of course, Vincent Arthur, as we mentioned, is the points leader of, and always worth being a part of the VirtualRacing.Network family. It means you want to subscribe, so hit that big black subscribe button. And if you don't mind hitting the like on this, if you are enjoying this, we do appreciate it. Gets word out a little bit more about the Icon Cup Series. So with that, we're just about to send the pace truck off, and we're going to get another shot at this one. So on lap number 5, Barney the Flagman waves the green flag, and we're going again. Ryan Smith leads it down to turn number 1, and you can see Nathan Finnegan blinking out just a little bit there as they head down into the corner, and wow, Brendan Jenks goes back into 4th. I thought he might have been able to get up there a little bit more, but Brian Smith now into that lead. Justin Michael into 2nd.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see this type of performance from Justin Michael over here in Icon. He's had a up and down season so far, so good to see him running up toward the front with a really good qualifying effort here today, getting the pole.
A little bit further back, still side by side here between Adam Ball and Ryan Patty. Nicely, Ronnie Norman getting into that mix. Norman in that number 18 orange and blue machine. Start to straighten it out. Back up front, Brian Smith for 313, able to get it done already, putting about 4 or 5 car lengths between him and Justin Michael. And it looks like we've got another yellow, this time for Jacob Smith. He gets it corrected.
Looks like just one car.
I wonder if this is something that we might be seeing here tonight. He was running at the back end of the field. Of course, getting some...
Oh, 3 wide in front of him.
Indeed, getting some dirty air. Oh!
Oh!
That looks like man. Brock Hersey just kind of coming down in front of him.
Oh, Harper just narrowly gets through there.
I think Smith kind of gets the run off the corner. Manages to tag Hersey there.
He expected Hersey to be a little bit higher up on the track, and Hersey was giving room to the guy on his outside, came down a little bit, and it was just meeting in the middle there, same position. But watch this avoidance by Tim Harper here. He has no idea that there's a wreck happening right now. The caution's going to come out right about now, and he sees the smoke, and instead of slowing down, he's just going to try speeding up to get by it. And man, you can't see that car until last second there.
Well, we come back here to the live picture. Brock Hersey going to lead Tim Harper back down pit road. Perhaps Harper going to need to take a little bit more damage repair. Maybe didn't get it all done on the first round. But checking in over in our YouTube chat room. Once again, grateful for all of you joining us. 73, Anthony Campbell bringing a couple of you over. Dope 3Y, Dop 3Y, appreciate having Dopey. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. JD Rated, rooting on the number 73, 3, Hokori. Let's go 73. So a lot of you here. EU Envy, welcome. Also rooting on the number 73, so he's got quite the fan club already developed here. That's Anthony Campbell in this beautiful paint scheme, which I heard a certain Snyder Graphics painted. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Rose Paveel, Morgan Paveel, so grateful to have you ladies joining us here and watching along, and hope you enjoy the racing out there when it is green flag racing, of course. Otherwise, it's just me and Christian talking, which, of course, that's why everybody's subscribing, I'm sure. But,
absolutely.
Of course. Stephen Dombrowski, good evening, gentlemen. Looking forward to tonight's race. As always, Ronnie Norman will be finishing first. Going to be exciting, hopefully. Indeed. You know, Dombrowski followed.
Good to see Stephen back here. He hasn't been in the chat for a while.
It's true, but it's great to have him follow Ronnie Norman around. You know, it's like traveling with NASCAR in real life. He's, of course, always going to be there wherever Ronnie Norman is, and that's always cool. Michael Burgess, let's go number 73. So there's another 73. My goodness, it's like 5 or 6 of y'all out there rooting on the 73, and that is very cool. Certainly, let us know where you're at out there, who you're rooting on, if you've got a favorite driver, favorite team that you've got in the field, and if you're enjoying this or anything else you want to chat about, be glad to chat with you over the course of the race. And Christian, I'm thinking that this is not what we thought, what a lot of these drivers thought they were going to see. They didn't think it was going to be this many yellows up front. I think everybody was just kind of geared up for green flag running, but sometimes it's the way you got to handle it. Just one lap at a time. Maybe it's yellow, maybe it's green. Got to do what you can do. Let's go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I mean, both wrecks so far haven't really been surprising. I mean, it's just kind of racing incidents so far, and they've kind of been weird wrecks, you know, not typical that we see this. So hopefully these guys can get back going green and stay caution free here the rest of the night. But taking a look at the standings, we'll send that over to you and go ahead and break it down for us.
Well, as you can see, the top 4 drivers are already assured that they will be in the playoffs at the end of the season. So Ryan Patty, Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, and Scott Patton all having wins. Jovi Ray, who's in the field, he does have a win, but he's not a full-time driver, so he does not get that guarantee. Jamie Lee Dunning and Vincent Laria, Ronnie Norman, all these drivers in the middle of the top 12. And on the bubble, you've got Timmy Harper, so he's definitely looking to try to get as many points as he can so that he can stay in the playoffs. You see just outside of the playoff zone, Michael Jennings, Justin Bissonette, Adam Ball, 3 very good drivers that, you know, it's funny. This is such a stacked field that it would really be something to see those drivers miss out. But then again, you look at the drivers in front of them, they're pretty darn talented too. So somebody's going to miss out on the playoffs. And if you're a driver right now, you don't want it to be you.
Yeah, and the most important thing, only the top 5 get points at the end of the stage here at lap 25. So if you're in that top 5, you're going to get some points to help that cushion. So guys like Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, looking for those points. As we are back under green here, Barney the Flagman with the green flag, and Brian Smith with another amazing restart there.
Smith, fantastic restart, gets it going, still side by side back here between Scott Patton and Ryan Patty. But 1, 2, 3, 4 managed to settle in just fine. A little bit more unsettled back here between Brendan Jinks. We see Adam Ball and Ronnie Norman swapping positions back here, but back up front, it's Brian Smith who weaves down the back stretch, tries to break the toe for Justin Michael. They all slot in 1, 2, 3. There's not a lot of room for a lot of laps to go side by side, Christian. You're going to start tearing up tires if you go side by side through too many corners. just trying to hold your position here.
Yeah, not only that, whenever you're side by side, that car on the inside doesn't have as much air on the right rear, and typically will get loose. So it's really dangerous running side by side in these corners. A couple years ago, we saw Martin Truex Jr. And I believe Kyle Busch go side by side into turn one, and both of them wrecked from first and second. So it's definitely a very tough track to go side by side through these corners. Has a big run by Ryan Patty up to the back bumper of Nathan Finnegan here.
Well, interesting. We're also seeing Ryan in a completely different paint scheme. We're used to seeing him in that DeWalt paint scheme, and here he's got the Exalta on board tonight. We'll see whether or not that can change his luck here, as he's been, he was up there running in the front, but I think he started to drift back a little bit. Hasn't been as much a competitor up in the top three, so perhaps new sponsor, new livery, chance to perhaps do a little bit more, take a little bit further back, look a little bit further back. This is Jamie Lee Dunning. He's had a lot of great runs here in the Icon Cup Series, but right now sitting back in 14th position. You have to do a lot to get all the way up there into the top five.
Just in front of him, his teammate Joby Ray, back to Icon. First time in a couple weeks that he's been here. He's struggling a little bit. He won the season opener here in Icon, and he's sitting 13th right now, or I'm sorry, 11th place right now for Joby Ray.
Well, Jovy's dropped a couple of positions. That's not what we're used to saying with Joby behind the wheel, but nonetheless, that's the way it goes down. And by the way, I want to talk about who the fastest car is on track. How about up at the front? That's Justin Michael, last time by, 52.50 around this track. Just a little bit faster than Brian Smith. So definitely we're seeing some challenges here, as here comes Ryan Patty. He is now challenging Nathan Finnegan. These two work as admins. Ryan Patty's the head honcho here in the Icon Cup Series, but Patty chasing down Finnegan, both of them with wins so far here in the Icon Cup Series. Looks like it's only a matter of time until Patty sends that nose down the inside of Finnegan and gives it a shot. Perhaps, I don't know if he was going to get a run here, headed down the front straight. Looks like he's backing off a little bit.
Yeah, I think right now it would be best to work together to try to catch those two up front, because the draft is everything. Once you get side by side with someone, you lose about half a second of speed. So you got to stay single file, got to stay in line. That's the best way to get speed around this track.
Well, Ryan Patty right now up 7 positions from where he started, one of the big movers and shakers. Here's a couple more big movers and shakers. How about Kyle Gilbert back here in the 227 Chevy for Renville Racing, up 7 positions so far as well. And it's kind of moving and shaking as we point the camera at him there, ducking and dodging. Sitting behind Adam Ball for Collar City Racing, but just behind him, this guy is also up 7 positions. And again, no surprise to see Vincent Arthur, most recent winner in the Nora Cup Series, right now up 7 positions, up into the top 10. So we'll keep an eye on that battle that's going on a little bit further back. But this is the guy who's taken so many pole positions. He's taken a win here. We've got a couple of cars here now pulling out to go down the inside. I believe that's a little bit further back. That's Adam Ball. We've just taken a look down the inside of Ronnie Norman. Thought maybe he had a little bit of a moment off of turn 2, but he's setting up to make a pass. Here comes Vincent Loria down the inside of Joby Ray.
Justin Bissonette now kind of looking underneath Vincent Loria. Not able to get anything done there in turn 4. They're all going to get back single file to try to just stay in line and save fuel for the lap 25 caution. Again, these guys should be good on fuel, but it is going to be pretty close. As he drives it in deep on Vincent Loria there, almost gets into him. Thinks better of continuing that path and will just hop in line behind Vincent.
Well, these drivers all strategizing the best way to get in those pit stops. And do I do it early, take the hit before the stage? The stage caution? Do I wait until after the stage caution when everyone else is going to come in? You know, it's kind of a gamble to do that early, but you know that you'll get it back because you know that there's a stage caution coming up.
Well, something interesting with that, if you're in the top 2, top 3 right now, if you pit before that stage caution, you might not go a lap down. You might be able to get through pit road and out ahead of the leaders and stay on the lead lap, which would allow you to then be the leader on the restart.
Certainly something to think about and gamble. Lots of different ways to handle the first stage. Do you want to be there to try to get the stage points? Do you want the track position at the end? And certainly Anthony Zoe feels like Vincent Lauria is the best driver in the field, or so he says over in our YouTube chat room. Number 30 looking good up there on the standings board from Gina Patty. Great to have you joining in here, Gina. Certainly Ryan is up there in the 4th spot, hanging with his friend Nathan Finnegan, or at least friend off the track. I suppose on the track it's much more of a competitive situation. John says, I don't know how I got here, but I want to see a crash. Hey, I appreciate the subscribe there, John. And we just kind of had a couple of crashes. Right now we're doing this really cool thing called Green Flag Racing. And we're loving it, actually. This is a chance for everybody to get out there and execute some strategy, some tire management. And are we going to see perhaps Patty try to make that pass on Finnegan eventually? I don't know. Like you said, trying to work together to get up there and perhaps be able to catch Brian Smith and Justin Michael. But as Smith comes across here to start the 19th lap, he's looking pretty unstoppable. This guy has a ton of speed, and he's put almost 8 or 9 car lengths between himself and Justin Michael.
Yeah, now he says, let's go 73, so he's joining the fan club for the 73, and oh man, both first and second get into the wall and get loose off of turn 2 there, and a lot of people now getting loose off of turn 2, so there might have been a huge wind gust that happened there, or either that, these tires are just finally starting to wear off, but man, Brian Smith got really sideways there.
Well, certainly, as we look on 11 miles an hour, the steady breeze out there on the track, you know, it does seem like when the tires start to go, it does affect a lot of the drivers at exactly the same time, at least as I've noticed it. You'll have on the same lap, you'll have multiple drivers just suddenly pushing out towards the wall. And, you know, it just depends on who it affects the most and whether it catches you out unprepared. One good news is for these drivers, it is overcast and the track temp relatively cool at 89 degrees Fahrenheit. And so not much to worry about as far as the tire degradation over the length of these green flag stints. But Brian Smith doing a bang-up job out there. Coming around this time, it's going to be 21 laps, and he'll just have to go about another 4 laps to be able to take all those stage points. And he'll be able to do that in front of Justin Michael. But Michael right now, I think he's starting to lose a little bit of time back here to Nathan Finnegan. And I believe one of those drivers who got sideways was also Ryan Patty. But Christian, you start to notice the car going up the track, unlike in IndyCar where you can adjust anti-roll bars, you can adjust the weight tracker. You pretty much just have to adjust your right foot.
Yeah, that's the only thing you really can adjust with this car. You just got to adjust how you drive it throughout the long run. Brake bias can only help so much at tracks where you actually have to brake. I'm not sure exactly on the telemetry of some of these guys right now, but most of the time it's just lifting in these corners, so don't think they're going to be able to use the brake bias to make any adjustments. So it's all about throttle control off the corner and keeping your car underneath you.
Well, this is some awesome throttle control and adjustments being done by Brian Smith as he continues to walk away from this field. Something to be said for having all that clean air out in front, but Brian Smith seems to be doing the most of it, or the most with it. We look back here in 5th place. There's Scott Patton for Bandit Motorsports. He's up a position from where he started, currently running in 5th place. And doing a pretty good job of holding his own right now here at a very tough Brickyard Speedway. But just behind, how about Kyle Gilbert? We've been talking about moving and shaking. How about up 9 positions? And he seems to be bringing this guy in tow. That's Vincent Arthur. Now, Arthur has all of his mirror filled with Brendan Jenks of Full Send Esports.
Yeah, these three all in a line. Brendan Jenks, Vincent Arthur, and Ronnie Norman all in a line here. Kind of all working together in a sense, trying to get up to the front. But Gilbert, I mentioned in qualifying, he was really fast in practice, and I was waiting for a good qualifying lap, but I guess that practice time was kind of race trim and long run capability, because he, like you said, up 9 positions. That's pretty impressive here for the 227.
9 positions gained at a track like this is definitely some serious skill. Of course, one of these drivers that slipped back a little bit there is Brendan Jenks. He started up in 4th, which was a great qualifying effort from him, but he has slid back to 8th place. But he's holding tight with the rest of this group, including Ronnie Norman. And again, Arthur, Jenks, Norman, all these drivers would know each other from the Nora Cup Series. They run with each other every Tuesday night. Of course, right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Just behind Adam Ball for Collar City Racing. He's dropped 5 positions as well. So not quite having the night that he would like. And Justin Bissonette, who gained a couple of spots, his teammate over at Collar City Racing, but he is just outside the top 10. You've got some pretty good drivers back here. Joby Ray, Vincent Loria, Jamie Lee Dunning, Mike Jennings, Cody Height. All these drivers just sitting outside the top end, or the top 5 at the moment. Here's Brian Smith. He's going to exit the corner. Down the front stretch he comes, and this is going to be the final lap, I believe, of the first stage coming up here, with Justin Michael in 2nd place. Nathan Finnegan holding on back here in 3rd, with Ryan Patty. He's just been all over the back of Nathan Finnegan this entire first stage.
Yeah, this is actually the last lap. These guys do it a little different than they do in Nora. They do the completion of the lap for the stage. So these guys are on the white flag of it right now. As we see, it looked like Brendan Jenks had a little bit of a moment there coming out of turn 2, but was able to keep it straight here. But Brian Smith going to be crossing the line here momentarily to get a stage win, which is not surprising, as he is a winner here and multiple-time pole sitter. So Brian Smith doing a really good job here in Icon.
And he will cross that yard of bricks in first place and capture the most amount of points. Congratulations to Brian Smith taking stage 1. Justin Michael taking 2nd place. Nathan Finnegan in 3rd. Ryan Patty in 4th. And Scott Patton. That's your top 5. Taking those stage points, very valuable as we get into the playoffs coming up later on this season. You're watching live Icon Cup Series coverage here. Round number 6 of the Icon Cup Series at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the Brickyard 200. And we're going to take a momentary break. We will be right back on the other side with the rest of this exciting Brickyard 200. You won't want to go anywhere. Stay tuned. welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You saw it there on pit road. It was Brian Smith who led off of pit road, but now Justin Michael ahead on the track, so we'll have to get clarification as far as that goes, but it was an interesting first stage victory going to Brian Smith, and we're hopefully going to get a chance to chat with him here, or perhaps it'll be Justin Michael. It'll be Brian Smith. So, hey, Brian, this is Trevor Greenfield, Christian Snyder up here in the Icon Cup Series booth. You got us?
I got you loud and clear.
Hey, my friend, that was a great first stage for you. Congratulations on victory.
Yeah, thanks. Went pretty smooth. I started where I ended up wanting to start, which was on the outside for the actual race start. It worked out really well. I was able to get the lead and hold on to it.
Well, what's it feeling like out there for you? A couple of drivers getting loose off of the corners, but you seem to be having absolutely no trouble and seem to be able to put Justin Michael back a couple of car lengths.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the clean air or just my approach of trying to hit the very bottom of the corner every turn, but it was pretty balanced, and I'm pretty happy with the setup in this thing. So we'll see how it goes now that I'm P2, though. It could be a little more tricky if I end up getting behind Justin.
Well, according to our software, you had gotten off of pit road first, but I guess it's Justin Michael who's going to be starting in first.
Yeah, I was certainly close. I don't know. I'd have to look at the replay, but we'll start on the outside here and see what happens.
Well, either way, you're having a great race so far, and we wish you the best of luck, and we'll certainly be talking to you, I'm sure, at the end of this one.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
So that is Brian Smith from 313 Motorsports. Having a good run out there. He's not really having any difficulty, as you can imagine. Christian, it's got to feel great to be out there just driving. I mean, you're in a 31-car field, and you're just out there in front. You're putting everybody down like multiple seconds. It's just got to feel great to not have any problems whatsoever. What's that like?
I mean, the way you just said that, it sounded like you were trying to jinx Brian Smith there, given the old broadcast curse, but it does feel good whenever you're able to get out there and lead, but sometimes it kind of gets repetitive and you have to hit your marks every time and you kind of mess up, but we'll see how it goes here. As green flag in the air, Brian Smith had a little moment, kind of spun the tires a little bit, almost went down to the inside lane. But Justin Michael going to take the lead going into turn one, side by side behind with Ryan Patty, and I believe that's Patton. Where is that? That's Finnegan in the sixth there, side by side with
Finnegan and Patty. They're side by side as they go through turns 1 and 2. Finnegan getting slideways, still trying to figure it out as Kyle Gilbert gets by, Brendan Jenks gets by.
Now Norman even gets by too, so he lost a lot of positions there coming out of turn 2. These cold tires, it's going to be a little loose for the first few laps, so these guys got to understand that and take it easy off the corner. Finnegan pushed it a little bit too hard, being underneath Ryan Patty, and gets loose there. But now we see Ronnie Norman trying to make a move here on Patton, but Finnegan is actually going to pass him because Ronnie has no draft help, and he's going to get freight trained on the outside here.
So side by side, they still race back here. For 6th, 7th, and 8th place. Finnegan slides in. Ronnie Norman, Justin Bissonette side by side. That is for 9th place. Looks like Norman now has Vincent Lauria on the inside, 3 wide down the back.
Yeah, trouble on further back. Michael Jennings into the wall and slow, but he will not bring out a caution. Will keep going, but lost a lot of positions, about 10 positions there coming out of turn 2.
New Yorker continues. Meanwhile, back up front, no trouble this time for Justin Michael. Brian Smith now settling into that second spot. Ryan Patty has moved clear, and look who has arrived not only in the top 5, but he is Christian. I can't even believe it. He's already into 4th place. Vincent Arthur, this guy is feeling it. He's got the new paint scheme. He's running here an Icon. You know, he was kind of, we've got
double.
Some serious.
That's Bissonette.
Bissonette now sliding backwards on the track. And
no caution, but he was heavy into the inside wall there.
no caution. And John, this one's for you. This is riding on board with Bissonette. Was on the low
This
side.
gets loose.
Was on the high side of the 67, excuse me. Gets loose and tags that wall. You can see the damage there to the left front.
Yeah, they're going to have to apply some bare bond to that left front to keep it from falling off here. But Bissonette actually going to stay out there and try to pass, I believe that's Brock Hersey in the 24 who had a incident earlier. But up front, we got a battle for the lead here. Smith looking to the inside. He's going to try to make the move here in turn 3. See if he's able to complete the pass. Oh, contact.
Some definite contact as the two enter turn 3, and Brian Smith kind of runs Justin Michael up the track a little bit. I don't know if he just got a little bit loose entering the corner. If he intentionally gave him a hip check. We've got Jamie Lee Dunning having all kinds of trouble on the track. And there he's
Oh,
sitting,
man, that's a hard hit.
nose first. All kinds of damage to that number 54. This was just a moment ago. This was Jamie Lee Dunning.
Yeah, that left front does not look good, so it might be the same situation that Bissonette had. He's just going to... Oh, he got into the wall there, gets a little tap, and then a hard hit into the inside wall. But great job getting on the brakes and keeping it from going up on the track and bringing out a caution. And then he comes back in and hits the wall a second time.
Could have not only brought out a caution, but could have collected several other drivers as a result, able to get it safely onto pit road. It's going to get some damage repair as we're now working on lap number 34 of 80. And this is the chance for everybody to execute their long run strategy. So everybody came in once. You're going to have to pit at least one more time. I say at least one more time because if we have multiple yellows, some driver's going to choose to come in and get fresh tires. We got Justin Bissonette again having another issue. This was just a moment ago. Bissonette coming through the corner and rides it up the track. So something definitely wrong with Bissonette's machine now. And, well, obviously much more is worse with that machine than it was before. If I were him, I would go drink some of that beverage that's on the side of that car and call it a night. And Brian Smith in charge of this one again. He's taking over control from Justin Michael. Michael not really going anywhere, and there's Ryan Patty as well. So we've got these three very, very close to one another. And last lap, actually, Michael and Patty faster. 2/10 faster for Patty than Brian Smith. So I wonder if Smith is having an issue.
I think the issue right now is having Justin in his draft. Each straightaway, Justin's able to just slowly inch up on him using that draft, and Ryan's in Justin's draft, so they're just kind of all pulling each other around this track. But Brian Smith definitely has got to look out for Michael because he got a little bit of help out of the lead, so I'm wondering if Justin Michael may return the favor here to Brian Smith.
Well, we watch.
You can see how much that draft affects him. He's just closing in the whole straightaway. And now look how close he is compared to last lap. He's only 2 car lengths back now on Brian Smith.
Well, we watch on here. It looks like Average Joe Motorsports has a fan in our YouTube chat room. Rhinoceros23, great to have you with us. Written on the 54, the 88, and the 052. Not sure if he meant the 87, but Justin Michael out there for Average Joe Motorsports doing a bang-up job right now. Back the 88 for Christopher Howell. Right now he's running back here in 15th place. Brad Slagle in the 052. Wow, looks like some real action here with Mike Jennings and Stephen Tuck just up in front now. Brad Slagle out of Elkhart, Indiana, trying to hold his own there in 19th place. It looks like Jamie Lee Dunning in that 54 is now brought it to pit road to try to take all of his damage repair at this point. But Brian Smith continuing to lead the way here, looking a little bit further back. Oh, we've got
trouble, Jovi Ray.
I was just going to say, we had somebody sliding off sideways, but Jovi manages to correct it. A little bit further back. Once again, some more side-by-side action. Coming down the backstretch, that's Mike Jennings. Down the inside of Brad Slagle for position. You see Anthony Campbell back there, the number 73. There he is in the orange and black machine, just outside the top 20. Loria up 13, up from 13 since caution. Great movement, says Anthony Zoe over in our YouTube chat. Certainly, Old Vincent's kind of looking good out there. There's Vincent Arthur right now sitting in 5th place, up 11 spots. Kyle Gilbert just in front of him in the 227, also up 11 spots. And here's Vincent Loria up in 8th place, up 9 spots right now in the 67. So some of these drivers really coming forward. It's you look at Ryan Patty, who's up eight spots right now, just up in front. It looks like Michael kind of chasing down Brian Smith, but Patty's up 8 spots. Gilbert's up 11. Arthur up 11. Loria up 9. Cody Height up 6 positions to make that 7 back here as he races side by side with Adam Ball.
Yeah, a lot of people vying for the Hard Charger Award here tonight.
One of the bonus points that we don't talk about at every race, but it is available to these racers. If you get no incidents, you get a couple of bonus points, and that's always worth something at the end of the season. So cleanest racer is going to get some extra points. Brian Smith, though, this is the easy way to do it, Christian. Just don't race, go faster than everybody, and then they can't get up and try and wreck you.
Well, he did have that little bit of contact with Justin Michael behind him, so interesting to see if maybe iRacing gave them X's for that, or if he's still clean and green here at the moment. But yeah, that's definitely one of the interesting things about Icon. I love the no incidents, gets you a bonus point. It rewards clean driving, and that's what we like to see out here.
I think you love to see that in any race series, but if you get a dirty driver, sometimes that gives you somebody to root against. Or, if you're into dirty driver racing, maybe that's your thing. Well, then it gives you somebody to root for. There's you got all kinds of fans in the stands. And by the way, thank you so much to all the virtual fans who have turned out here in iRacing. They're all paying their $78 a pop to sit up there in those stands, and we appreciate it. Sold out crowd yet again for the Icon Cup Series. It's amazing how every race here on VirtualRacing.Network, every race sells out, but we're so thankful to those virtual fans, and thankful to all of you over on YouTube joining us, watching along, as we've got a heck of a race here. That's Justin Michael really chasing down Brian Smith.
Yeah, you got to wonder if maybe after the contact, Michael just kind of saved his tires the past few laps and has been slowly waiting to start pushing it to catch him, and now he's finally making that move. He kind of peeked low there to show Smith that he's in his mirror, but is going to tuck in line here in turn 1. And now in turn 2, he should stay in line, but he'll have a great run coming off of 2. As you see, he entered a little higher. He's going to arc down. He's going to have a good run off. Let's see if he's able to make the pass here.
Justin Michael, driver out of Wyoming for Average Joe Motorsports. Now taking a look. He's going to try to size up Brian Smith in front. You see Smith kind of taking a higher line through the corner. Definitely at a different point of tire strategy. Maybe trying to later apex the corners coming off of turn 4. Michael getting a run down the front straight. Wonder if this is the lap we see him put his nose down the inside of the 78. It's better of it. Perhaps fuel saving a little bit here to stay in that shadow of air in front. And that way, when you come down to pit road, you have to take a little bit less fuel, or you can go an extra lap or two, perhaps do the overcut. So you see Smith weaving to try to break that toe. Brian Smith having none of it. He's going to try to stick it down low. Is he going to make it? Justin Michael going to try here down the inside. Side by side they go through turn 4.
This is a great battle. They're going to stay side by side this entire straightaway. And you're going to see Ryan Patty probably going to catch up to this battle with them being side by side here. He's too far back to catch him on this straightaway, but if they stay like this a couple laps, you got to watch for Ryan Patty. But looks like Ryan Smith going to let him have the position going into turn 1, but now he's going to look to cross him over in turn 2 here. He's underneath him.
Oh, he comes all the way down to the grass pretty much. Brian Smith on the exit of turn 2. They race side by side down the backstretch.
Brian Smith working that side draft, pulling the 87 back, and now side by side again here. But you see again, Justin Michael, he's going to lift early and try to cross him over here. See if it works. He's going to go underneath him here in turn 4. So another crossover.
And here comes
Now
Ryan
side
Patty.
by side.
Just like you said, here comes Ryan Patty into the picture. He's not overworking his tires trying to catch up. These two in the front are playing tag, and Patty's able to capitalize on it, closing in ever so much each and every lap. Justin Michael back to the lead.
And here comes again the crossover by Brian Smith. These guys are going to do this every corner here. I'll be interested to see if... oh, he got a little loose, and now Justin Michael is going to clear for the lead, but Ryan Patty's got a run now on Brian Smith here for second.
As they march into turn 3, it's Justin Michael who has the clear lead at this point, but Ryan Patty has joined this fight at the front and is now able to possibly try to make a move on one of these top 2 contenders for this race win. Over in the YouTube chat room, feel free to vote in our poll. Who do you think is going to take victory tonight? Is it Michael? Is it Smith? Is it Patty? Or is it Arthur? Or, I know all of you out there, you think it's Campbell, but you can certainly write that one in. We'll count about 5 votes for Campbell. Why not? We can only put 4 options in the poll, but either way, feel free to vote, and we'll announce the results at the end of this race. Watching this one unfold, it's Justin Michael who's taken over the lead as Brian Smith is perhaps a little too hot to handle out there in front. Michael able to take over that lead, and Smith hanging on in second, Patty in third. Kyle Gilbert and Vincent Arthur now racing side by side for that 4th position. They get very close to one another, a little bit of side drafting going on. The 34, Vincent Arthur, takes 4th place headed into turn number 1. And here comes Nathan Finnegan as well to follow him through. Wondering if this means that Gilbert and Finnegan almost touched there. Gilbert,
Man, that was close.
Very close stuff. Finnegan almost making severe contact with Gilbert, but they both managed to clean it up. Gilbert resumes in 5th position.
I do just want to mention we are maybe 2 laps away from the fuel window opening up. These guys can get about 30 laps on fuel, and we're at about 33 to go. So right about around here is where you're going to see those green flag stops take place. Some people could gamble. You could see someone pit as early as this lap, but I don't think you're going to be able to make it this far. As we see, Jovi Ray is in the pits. I don't know if that's a scheduled stop.
Jovi Ray perhaps trying to do the undercut. As we've talked about this is a possibility. Right now, time's falling about 6-7 tenths off of the fastest laps of the race. So not a lot to be gained from that undercut strategy right now, but we have side-by-side racing just behind as Patton now pulls through. Gilbert back to 7th place. Up in front, Ryan Patty still trying to chase down these lead two. So once it got straightened out, looks like Patty just not quite able to stay up there with Brian Smith. We'll see how things fare out here in the next few laps and perhaps as that pit window opens. Jovi Ray still down here on pit road though.
Yeah, clearly having an issue. He has pulled it into the pits and will stay in the pits. So I think his bid for the win tonight is over.
Indeed it is. Taking a look back here, I think I can track it perhaps down to this moment here. Let's see if we can tell exactly what happens to Jovi Ray. There's Ray up in front hitting the wall. And that was some substantial damage there to Jovi Ray, and still continuing to hit the wall. This was just a couple of laps ago, and as a result, losing many positions. Back to the live picture, though. Ray on pit road trying to take that damage repair. Justin Michael currently in the lead. Brian Smith in second. Ryan Patty in third. Vincent Arthur in fourth. Nathan Finnegan in fifth place. This has been a great race so far. Hope you're enjoying it out there in YouTube land. Of course, we have all of the Icon Cup Series races on archive here, so if you missed any of this season's action, feel free to go back and check it out. Of course, still a lot of great races coming up. You see that at the bottom of the screen. Watkins Glen going to be coming up next week. We'll have Daytona, Darlington, great well-rounded schedule, and you won't want to miss it, so make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed here on VirtualRacing.Network. Ryan Patty still holding on there in third place, but Vincent Arthur closing a little bit each lap on Patty now that he's gotten free of those other drivers out there, Finnegan and Patton and Gilbert. You also see back here Ronnie Norman has managed to get into 8th place. It's about one position off of where he started tonight's race. Vincent Loria back here in 11th position, number 67. You see just in front Brennan Jenks and Jacob Smith side by side, as we now have Kyle Gilbert making his way down pit road and Cody Height just behind Nathan Finnegan. These three drivers all making their way down this very long pit road here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Adam Ball.
This is going to bring the rest of the field. Everyone's going to see these guys pitting, and they're going to know that now's the time to come into the pits, so you won't be surprised to see a lot of the top 10 come in this next time by.
Some of these drivers, of course, doing their own YouTube streaming. Cody Height on YouTube, or of course on Twitch as well. Cody Height on YouTube, as he's known. You can catch him on his own stream. And here is Justin Michael. Ryan
working with some lap traffic at the moment here. Going to easily get around him, though. But Ryan Patty brings it into pit road, one of those top three. And another one, Patton, also coming into the pits as well.
Patton making his way down for the final stop of the day. Tanner Dio as well. There you see, I believe Stephen Tuck, excuse me, now entering pit road. Anthony Campbell, fan favorite there in the YouTube chat room, will make his way down pit road out of the top 20. Tim Harper as well. Timmy Harper also streaming. Look for number 12 over at Harper Motorsports YouTube stream. Back over here at the front, though, Justin Michael still continuing. Brian Smith as well. And times are, again, we're about a full second off of what the best times were in this race. So We now got Vincent Arthur. He's going to choose to come into the pits, and I do wonder, with Ronnie Norman, Brendan Jenks also making their pit stops, I do have to wonder if Justin Michael, Brian Smith are going to make that pit stop.
Yeah, they didn't have to worry about the other guys making the pit stops that early. The only people they really needed to worry about were the guys in the top 6 to 7, who were within about 6 seconds of the lead. Those guys are going to make up a good time, so you're going to see Michaels and both of the Smiths more than likely pit this lap.
We've got 3 drivers for 313 Motorsports, all sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Here comes Justin Michael into the pits. First of the top runners to do so. Jacob Smith now just behind him. That is going to leave Brian Smith out there, so we'll have to see how this all circles around after this round of pit stops. Put up the track map for you. Your eyes can squint that low depending on whether you're on a mobile phone or you're watching this on your big screen TV. Just find your favorite driver's initials and you can see where they're at on the track. Brian Smith yet to make his final stop. All these top 4 drivers still looking to get their final stop in. Smith, Loria, Purcell, and Slagle yet to get in for that final stop. Justin Michael, the first driver shown out there, but Ryan Patty also shown 2nd in that group that has already made a pit stop as well. Comes Vincent Loria and Brian Smith down pit road.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this race cycles out. It looks like Patty going to remain behind Justin Michael, so not able to jump a position there. Vincent Arthur is going to be in front of Finnegan and Patton, then Gilbert, going to be right about your top 6. We'll have to see where Brian Smith, though, works out. As Sean Purcell going to stay out on the track, going to get a few laps led here in that number 04, the Blue Machine.
The Blue Machine from Illinois, one of the independents in the field. Always great to get in a lap led in that column.
Oh, something interesting. Justin Michael just jumped Brian Smith on the pylon there, as well as Ryan Patty. He's now in 2nd here whenever this thing cycles out.
Well, that's the danger of the undercut strategy if you're somebody like Brian Smith. Now, of course, Brian will have a little bit fresher tires towards the end of this stage, or at the end of this race, but that was perhaps the move of the race right there. Justin Michael able to get in a little bit earlier, and Ryan Patty as well. So Ryan Patty now shown officially in 2nd place. Brian Smith about 1.3 seconds back. Vincent Arthur, he's claimed 12 positions so far, but right now he's got a lot of catching up to do. 3.5 seconds back of Brian Smith. So interesting. All these drivers about the same amount of time on pit lane. But I'll tell you what, Justin Michael a little bit quicker, 47.78 to everyone else in the 48.
Yeah, I saw he got really deep on the pit road. He pushed it pretty far on entry, almost locked up the brakes. He was going so fast. So that's where you gain time, is on entry and exit to pit road.
Well, Anthony Zoe saying he's going to have some crazy 313 speed now. I guess that's how that works. You get the later tires and get that thing fired up. But right now, side by side between these two, Scott Patton moves ahead of Nathan Finnegan. That's for 5th place on the track. So Patton continuing his streak of top 5.
Oh, Norman.
Wow, a couple of
Norman
drivers.
gets into the wall pretty hard there.
That was definitely Norman. I believe possibly Brian Smith getting into the wall as well on that same lap. But right now,
I believe that was Jacob Smith in the 4.
I see. So a number of these drivers already, despite being on fresh tires, Let's get a few laps into the stint, and already getting a little bit heavy feel and starting to push up the track a little bit more than they would like. Doesn't take long here for that grip to start to melt away.
Yeah, from what I heard from practice, it takes about 5 laps for these tires to start getting a little bit loose for these guys. So those tires don't last very long before they kind of wear out a little bit.
Well, with coming around here with 20 laps to go once they cross the start-finish stripe, it's Justin Michael of Average Joe Motorsports. No surprise to you, Christian. You've been racing with this guy for a little while. But to see him out there in the lead of this big race, the Brickyard 200 for the Icon Cup Series, he's doing it in pretty amazing style. He took on Brian Smith square on, and so far he's had a pretty good strategy. Brian Smith back here starting to catch up, I think, a little bit. He's now within a second of Brian Patty, so we may see a showdown for the Brickyard 200 at the finale laps. After all, Brian Smith getting even closer, 9/10 of a second. So Ryan Patty going to very quickly have his mirror filled with Brian Smith here at 313 Motorsports. Maybe that's what Anthony Zoe meant with that crazy 313 speed.
Yeah, those tires 1 or 2 laps better, plus he's got the draft ever so slightly. Once he gets a little bit closer to Patty, he'll be able to catch him using that draft on the straightaways. So Patty's got to worry. If you're in his seat right now, you got to be worried that the 78 is catching him that quick.
Well, Patty getting loose there coming through the corner as well, so all of this going to affect these cars and their tires as we still have 20 laps to go. You don't want to push too hard, possibly take yourself out of contention. Start looking a little bit further back. This is a pretty big race that's going on back here. Kyle Gilbert, Jacob Smith. This is for 8th place on the track. And another big race going on back here. This is Sean Purcell and Anthony Campbell. See who can get a top 20 out of today. You know, again, everybody's sort of engaged in their own fights out there. There's a guy that we didn't expect we were going to see just outside the top 20, Timmy Harper. Possibly an issue with that machine, but not the type of winning ways that we're used to seeing from Timmy Harper, being usually up in the top 5 or so of this one. Anthony Zoe saying we need a caution. Well, I mean, it depends. If you want Brian Smith to win this one, he may or may not want the caution to come out. If caution comes out, I mean, yes, it'll group him up a little bit more, but Brian Smith has an opportunity right now on speed alone to try to make a move on Patty.
Yeah, he's definitely catching him right now. He's within that draft range, so you're going to see him catch him probably within the next 2 or 3 laps.
On board, number 78 is Smith. As we go through the corner, it's just slowly starting to catch. And it's just like every corner, it's just like maybe a 1/10 of a second each corner. There you can see the linear progression that Brian Smith has been able to make on Ryan Patty. Just a little bit each lap, to the point where we're at right now, just 3/10 of a second separating these two drivers. I'll tell you what, if you're Brian Smith right now, you can just taste victory. It's like blood in the water. I'm catching these guys. I know I can do it here. Is he going to be able to possibly make a move here into turn 1? That was a big run that he had on Ryan Patty.
Yeah, I definitely think on the backstretch here he'll have a run, but I think Patty just going to pull it low and give him the outside here in this corner and let him go. It's smarter to not stay side by side because you're going to let Justin Michael pull away, so as soon as you can get single file here, definitely do, and he does.
Well, you see Patty still sneak up to the back bumper of Smith, but Patty really doesn't have any sort of answer for Smith's speed. Smith now sets his sights on Justin Michael. Have about 12 car lengths to get up there and catch Michael. With just 15 laps to go, it's going to need to do it more than a tenth, or just about a tenth of a second a lap to get up there and catch Michael, and then he's going to have to pass him. And as we saw earlier, I don't know that Michael is going to be quite so friendly this time to Smith.
Yeah, we saw these guys make contact earlier and then cross each other over about 3 or 4 laps in a row. So these guys definitely the class of the field tonight, and I think he's going to catch him, but it's going to be a matter if he can pass him or not. We'll see how many crossovers they do to each other once he gets up to him. But those two definitely had an amazing little battle earlier. It's going to be interesting to see if they have another amazing battle to settle this for the win.
Sitting up here in the stands with the fans watching along at the Brickyard. Just under 15 laps to go. Will it be Justin Michael, Brian Smith, Ryan Patty, or Vincent Arthur? Make sure to vote over in our poll here in the YouTube chat. Nobody voting so far for Ryan Patty. But you look at some of these other drivers. Smith leading right now, actually now tied with Arthur, 40% each. Now, I would definitely say if they got a yellow, maybe Arthur would have a shot at this one. He's very good at restarts. But right now, it's pretty hard to put any money on anybody other than Smith if you're me. Of course, I can't vote in it because I set up the poll. But we will find out here. Just 13 laps remain for these drivers. And certainly these fans getting all their money's worth here in the stands. Hope you're enjoying this one out there in YouTube land. We get set for possibly a showdown here in the final 10 laps. Looking a little bit further back, we've got a three-way battle going on here between Jacob Smith for 313 Motorsports, Ronnie Norman, and Cody Height. All 3 ducks in a row headed down the backstretch. Like we have another pass happening here as well. That's Brennan Jenks getting down the inside of Kyle Gilbert. Kyle was having so much luck earlier in this race. He was up there in the top 10, and now Jenks gets sideways in front of Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert was one of the first people to come into pit road, so he's got the oldest tires right now. So that's why Jenks going to get around him, and now Gilbert going to get in behind him and try to draft him down the front stretch here.
Certainly these drivers going to try to battle it out here. So we're looking back here in 10th position. There's another 3-way battle, as we mentioned, just up here in front. This is Jacob Smith, Ronnie Norman, and Nathan Finnegan all battling it out for that 6th spot.
Norman looks like he's going to clear, I believe that's Nathan Finnegan here on the front stretch, and now he's going to try to work on Jacob Smith and Scott Patton. But I believe Scott Patton's pretty far ahead of Jacob Smith, so they got a lot of ground to gain if they're going to catch up to Patton.
Indeed. I was just looking up in front here. This gap is not really coming down very quickly between Justin Michael and Brian Smith. And the gap is definitely growing from Smith back to Patty, so it's looking like a 2-horse race at this point. If it stays green, will Smith have time to catch him? And I don't think so, because we're seeing this gap is now growing, 1.27 seconds. So it's going the other way for Justin Michael and Brian Smith.
Yeah, and something to help Justin Michael, he's catching up to a lap car. So he's going to use his draft to try to pull away even further from Smith. As you can see, that gap now 1.4 seconds. So he is pulling away using that draft from the lap car in front of him. As he gets loose out of the corner, he saves it, but that's going to allow Brian Smith to gain a little bit, but he got loose as well.
Oh, Smith has gained a lot after that little mistake coming off of turn 2. This gap has now halved itself down to 0.7 of a second. You can see it there on your screen. Michael had this one in control. He was all the way up to 1.4 seconds. We'll have to see if he can recover it and continue to build out this lead once again. That gap is still coming down. 0.7
Yeah, now he's within draft, so he can use that draft to catch Justin Michael. So now it's a matter of how's he going to pass him? Is he going to set him up for a dive bomb? Is he going to try crossing him over? This thing just got interesting now. He would have definitely passed Justin Michael had he not gotten loose. So that little bit of looseness that he got out of turn 2 at the same time as Justin kind of cost him from taking the lead earlier. But on back in the field here, we're taking a look at Jacob Smith and Ronnie Norman battling. Behind Norman, Finnegan still trying to hold on to Norman's draft here.
And Norman definitely putting about 6 car lengths between himself and Finnegan, and now sets his sights on Patton.
Yeah, Jacob Smith just dropped from the session there.
I can see that. I was wondering why he was no longer in our list, but unfortunately, now he does materialize, but no, I think he's officially dropped from the session as he continues to fall down through the order. So unfortunate stuff for Jacob Smith, who was having a great run, but you know, lots of different places in the United States and certainly the world, but lots of different places having storm issues, and of course all of our hearts with those over in Hawaii that suffered the terrible tragedy this week. And certainly heavy hearts, but with, you know, around the United States, lots of different activities going on here as we're in the middle of summer. Lots of flooding, lots of thunderstorms, easy to lose your power very quickly. So hopefully Jacob Smith okay there and get him back out here in the next race. But this one at the front, it's starting to stretch out again, Christian. I mean, last time I said that, Michael almost lost it off at turn 2. But we're going to come around to 6 to go this time, and 0.9 of a second is the lead.
Yeah, Justin's starting to get that draft again from another lap car as, oh, we have a caution. This has changed everything now.
We do have a caution. And it's for Brendan Jenks for Full Send Esports. Still trying to locate him on the track. And he's managed to get it going again, so I'm guessing he was in the middle of a battle. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here.
Oh, just gets hooked.
Gets hooked.
From that angle, it looks like Loria gets onto his outside and just hooks him there, but we'll have to take a look from the chopper cam, see exactly what happens here. See, he takes a little higher of an entry into the corner, and then Loria gets a good run off, gives him a little tap, gives him another tap, and turns him around, and then Loria hard into the inside wall.
My goodness. See what this one looked like from on board with Vincent Loria.
See, right there's the first tap, and then there's the second one, and it just turns him around. So, man, no damage though for the 38. So that's pretty good.
Jump back and see what it looked like from on board with Brendan Jenks. A lot of these drivers now making their way onto pit road as we watch exactly what this one looked like from Brendan Jenks' point of view here. Sees Loria drifting up the track, and that's about all the time you've got to react to that one.
Yeah, sure. Jenks is not happy about that one. There was just there was no need to necessarily do that, but Jenks going to recover hopefully and get a top 10 finish still. But up front, Brian Smith and now Vincent Arthur coming out second, Norman in third, and Justin Michael clear back to fourth.
Wow.
So maybe some two-tire stops here for these guys.
Definitely two-tire stops for Smith, Arthur, and Norman. With Arthur and Norman able to get that down under 10 seconds at 9.4 seconds apiece. Justin Michael, the first of those drivers to take 4 tires.
Hey, you think back to Tuesday, Vincent Arthur did the same exact thing. He took 2 tires late and was able to hold off for the win, so he's trying to second that one within a matter of a week.
Well, it seems like the two-tire strategy has really come back. It kind of fell out of favor for a short period of time. People saying, you might as well take 4. 2 tires is not really good enough. But for 5 laps, I think, or by the time we get going green again, it's going to be about probably 3 laps. That differential is going to be fine for 3 laps. But to go past maybe 5, 6, 7 laps here at the Speedway, you wouldn't want to have that big of a difference between your right and left tires. We're going to take a momentary break here. Get ready for this 3-lap shootout to the end. You don't want to go anywhere. We're going to have a great battle on our hands here coming up shortly. Be right back. Welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. We're about to see the conclusion of round number 6, the Brickyard 200 here at the Brickyard. And Brian Smith is going to lead Vincent Arthur down to turn number 1. Here comes Justin Michael down the inside, or down the outside. There's Ronnie Norman on the inside. That's for 3rd place. They still stay side by side. Ryan Patty now getting into the middle of this one. We've, of course, got to stay green until we get to that white flag. We've got one car in the wall.
Wreck.
There is a car that has wrecked, and that is going to be Brendan Jenks for Full Send Esports. And Renee Jenks had just chimed in over in the chat room. She's now said it's now been removed by Renee Jenks. But too bad on that one. Let's take a look here. Christian, looks like Brendan just can't really buy a break here.
He can't. He's had a couple of weeks of bad luck here, and it looks like it starts ahead of him here, and he's going to start to check up. And then it looked like Finnegan got into the wall, bounced off, and got into Brendan Jenks and sent him around. But again, not too much damage there for the 38. But everything started up ahead. You'll watch from on board here. Everyone starts checking up because someone gets into the wall ahead. He gets a good run, and he just doesn't realize that Finnegan's going to get into the wall there. He was kind of drifting up the track, and he had a good run. Just kind of unavoidable contact right there.
Finnegan really did tag the wall. There may actually be some damage to Finnegan based on that. He's currently sitting in the top 10, but watch this hit. And Finnegan, I think, reacting to Patty up in front. Oh. I don't see too many loose parts on that machine, but
you can definitely see a little bit of separation between the hood and the right front, just ever so slightly. So it's going to affect them pretty well. Man, the front of that hood is bent down. So, yeah, that's going to affect them there.
That thing needs some serious help. Now, it's like on board you can see a little bit of separation, but as soon as we see that camera outside. So seeing some drivers pulling it into the pits here towards the back, perhaps going to take 2 tires, go from 2 tires to 4 tires. Jenks, Tuck, Gunther all coming into the pits. But these guys up at the front choosing not to. Can we hear from the commentators how they feel about the 73's performance today? The fan club has their opinions about Campbell today. Well, Campbell, the truth is that Anthony Campbell right now is doing kind of milestone racing. To be up in the top 10, that would be a great way to finish out any one of these races. We would love to see Anthony up there in the top 10. But right now, in a 30-plus car field, to finish somewhere in the top 20 and not get involved in a big wreck, not cause an incident, that's exactly what you want. It's like, in a top split race such as this, you go out there in a 30-car field, in an official race, you end up getting iRating, you end up getting safety rating, and you pat yourself on the back at the end of the day and you say that was a great run. And so, it's all in milestones, it's all in increments. And you get up there in the top 20, the next thing you know, you're looking at top 15. The next thing you know, you're looking at top 10. So you just got to stay consistent out there. It looks like Anthony Campbell doing a good job being up there in the top 20. And you got to look at who he's running around right now. I mean, he's right behind Timothy Harper. Harper's got a win over in the NORA series. He's frequently a top 5 runner. Cody Eldred, Detach House of Speed. Great racer out there. Mike Jennings as well up there. So, he's in very good company, and it's a lot like the real life series. Just because you're back in 20th and not in second, you look around at the names who are in 19th and 21st, and a lot of times it's guys you're used to seeing up there in the top 5.
Yeah, and just to chime in on how he's doing, I think you mentioned it briefly. Staying clean had to be his goal coming into this. A couple of cautions caused last week. Coming into this week, he was kind of under a microscope, making sure that he didn't cause any cautions today. And I think his goal coming in was just, keep it clean and be safe. And he is doing an excellent job of that here today. Don't think he's been in any incidents so far, knock on wood. But he is doing pretty good so far.
Well, as the drivers make their way down this backstretch here, Indianapolis, this beautiful facility, the Brickyard, been around well over 100 years and the home of racing to several different series now. Most of the series, the top-level series, have raced here. Perhaps someday we'll get a chance to see the real-life NASCAR Cup Series come here. But in the meantime, thank goodness we have iRacing. We have the Icon Cup Series, because we get a chance to see this one finish out. Who's it going to be? Brian Smith, Vincent Arthur once again going to give it a shot. Brian Smith gets the better jump. Here comes Ronnie Norman down on the inside line as well.
Yeah, side by side for second as now Ronnie Norman going to allow Vincent Arthur to come down. Those guys teammates in the NORA Cup Series, but not over here, but friends over here. So he's going to let Vincent, his friend, in. But Justin Michael on the outside of Norman now with a lot of guys scattering out behind them here. It looked like for a second Patton was going to get into the wall. Keeps it straight, and they are 3 and 4 wide here. Cody Height and Vincent Loria. And underneath him, I think Finnegan.
several side-by-side battles. We've got one up into the wall. I believe it's Loria. And now we've got multiple cars tangling. There's one in the fence. There's the 88 in the fence as well. Vincent Loria caught up in this one. Cody Height in this one.
Anthony Campbell got a little bit of it. He just got tagged on the door, but he's going to make it through. But I knew that was going to happen. That one kind of started coming out of turn 2 between Vincent and Cody Height. And they just kind of banged doors a little bit off of turn 2. And then just never really separated from each other the entire backstretch. And then going into 3, they make contact again. And then that's going to put Loria into the wall, and then 4 wide underneath. It's just going to cause an incident there. But if we can back it up and watch coming out of turn 2, they make contact the whole way down the backstretch almost. So this one was kind of an incident of, hey, you got into me twice on the backstretch.
Watch Gilbert get up into the 46 here as well as they come through the corner. There they make contact. There's Loria into the back of the 46.
Okay, that's going to push the 46 up the track, and then Vincent going to get underneath them. Then you'll see contact there. Loria comes down, and then Cody Height's going to come back up, give him a little bit of a door. And they're 4 wide here, and whenever you're 4 wide, you know it's not going to work. Patton backs out of it, but still Cody Height gets back into Vincent Loria again. And then Loria is going to bounce off the wall and just collect half the field from behind him. That's a big hit for Hal.
Jump on board. This is what it looked like from Height's point of view. Makes contact there. And this is about the time that you take your hands off the steering wheel. That car is... that is a wreck right there. That thing is going to have to be completely rebuilt on the front end. Watching Christopher Howells on board here.
Absolutely no warning there.
This is what Cody Eldred saw from his point of view. See Brendan Jenks down there on the low line. A little bit of smoke up ahead. And are we going to miss it? Are we going to miss it? We're almost through it, but we didn't make it.
Yeah, he had Loria coming up the track and Cody Height coming down, and he just got sandwiched in the middle there.
And finally, we'll take one more look, this time from Anthony Campbell's point of view.
Yeah, you're going to see he gets hit on the door here. We'll have to see how much that'll affect him, but it's right on board here.
And I believe we're back to green here.
Oh, we are. We are back green already, and a good start for Brian Smith. And Vincent Arthur getting a shove from Justin Michael.
Side by side there for Arthur and Patty. That's Gilbert and Michael side by side for 4th place. So the battle is on here just behind the leader, Vincent Arthur, and Patty. Now has Patty just behind. Michael still side by side there. As you see, I believe that's Brendan Jenks pulls down onto the warm-up lane. Off the corner they come, up into the wall. Patty goes. We're going to see the white flag this time for Brian Smith. So Brian Smith going to take the white flag. Barney the flag man proudly displays the white cloth. Justin Michael in 2nd place, or in 3rd place. Vincent Arthur in 2nd. Brian Patty in 4th. Roddy Norman right now in 5th place. This one's official. Whoever wins this one, it's done. And there, they're in the wall.
Yeah, that was Justin Michael into the wall. More contact on back in the field. Let's see if Patty's able to get underneath Michael here. Oh, he turned him.
Oh, they just make it through the corner. Patty now moves up into third. Michael drifts down the track, almost takes someone else out. Here comes Ronnie Norman. Is he going to end up third? Would not be the first time Ronnie Norman ended up on a podium position in that way, but here comes Brian Smith across the line. A chaotic last few laps. He'll take victory. Vincent Arthur will take second place, and Ryan Patty holds on for third with a little bit of contact with Justin Michael, who ends up back in 7th place. And a big shout out for this guy who comes home in 10th place. I don't know how he managed to survive, but he managed to get around all that wrecking action. Number 73 there, Anthony Campbell, hangs on for the top 10, much to the happiness of his fan club in the YouTube chat room. Wow, what a race here, Christian. What a finish. And what a way for Brian Smith to come back after all that racing with Justin Michael and be able to put his stamp on this race.
Yeah, another guy with a good comeback finish there. Brendan Jenks in 9th. After wrecking twice, comes back and gets a top 10. So good job there for Full Send.
Unbelievable. So much to talk about. We're going to watch Brian Smith, who I'm sure is going to start celebrating here on the front stretch, and he does. He lights it off. We're going to take a moment here, catch our breath. We'll get the final results up on the screen. We'll be here to talk with our top 3 finishers at the Brickyard 200. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You saw it live, the Brickyard 200 for the Icon Cup Series, round number 6. And it was quite a race. Brian Smith taking the first stage and facing all kinds of adversity. Justin Michael coming through and Ryan Patty closing in at various points. Vincent Arthur making an appearance up there, but Brian Smith, despite a couple of restarts, holding on and taking victory for his second victory of the season in the Icon Cup Series. Congratulations to him. Second place going to Vincent Arthur in his debut here in the Icon Cup Series. This guy is just feeling it behind the wheel, taking victory last week in the NORA Cup Series here on VirtualRacing.Network on Tuesday nights, and now getting second place. What a statement. Third place going to Ryan Patty. Made a little bit of contact there at the end. We'll have to ask him about that one, but a great run from him. Ronnie Norman going to take 4th place. Another great run from Ronnie, who's still doing fantastically in the points and is looking at a potential playoff berth. Adam Ball in 5th place. Tanner Dio hangs on for 6th. Justin Michael, difficult to say. I'm sure he's a little disappointed in that 7th place after how great he was running with the rest of this race, but he'll have to recover and lick his wounds and come back next week at Watkins Glen. Mike Jennings in 8th place. Great run for him to finish in the top 10. Brendan Jenks is, as Christian mentioned, able to recover and get in the top 10. Anthony Campbell, crowd favorite, finishing in the top 10 in 10th place. Brad Slagle in 11th. Timothy Harper finishes his number in 12th place. Stephen Tuck in 13th. Nathan Finnegan in 14th. Sean Purcell, 15th. Hanover Fist with actually one of his best finishes of the season. In 16th place, Scott Patton in 17th. Vincent Loria finishing in 18th place. And in 19th, Kyle Gilbert, Brock Hersey in 20th, Cody Eldred, Jacob Langley, Christopher Howell, Cody Hype, very disappointing 24th place for that driver who's used to being up in the top 10 at the end of these things. Kevin Gunther in 25th, Jacob Smith having connection issues and dropping back in the field. Evan Patinko, he didn't get to finish his qualifying and didn't get in a full race either, back in 27th. Justin Bissonette, another top driver who unfortunately settled back there in the field. And Joby Ray, Jamie Lee Dunning, Thomas Taylor finishing out the order here tonight at Indy. And who will win tonight's race? Well, the majority of you did pick Brian Smith, and you were correct. 37% of you did. Congratulations to him and to all of you who picked the correct number. And of course, make sure to like this video if you enjoyed the racing out there, and certainly if you enjoy Christian's commentary. He's certainly very skilled. I'm the less skilled one, but I continue on and I run the cameras behind the scenes, so we complement each other. But as we now have rounded up these drivers here at the top three, we're going to get a chance to chat with them in the post-race discussion area. I believe up first will be Ryan Patty. So let's see if we can catch up with Ryan. In fact, we do have him here. Ryan Patty, welcome to post-race discussion here for the Icon Cup Series. And tell us about your night and how you got to third place out there. Congratulations.
Thanks, Trevor. Yeah, man, it was a crazy night tonight. Obviously we've had a few caution breaks in the first few weeks here, but it seemed like the race was never going to end for a little bit there. Just on and on. Definitely driving as hard as I could just to stay with the 78 and the 87 tonight. They had so much pace, and it was basically just driving on the limit for the entire race to stay with the top two if I could.
And it was scintillating pace up there. It looked like for the longest time it was just going to be Smith and Michael, and they were at first Smith was running away with it, then Michael managed to catch up. Everybody just kind of having a little slip here and there, and that allowed you to catch up to the group. Was there a point where you thought, hey guys, just keep playing, just keep going back and forth and trying to slide underneath one another? I'm going to catch up and pass you both.
Yeah, absolutely. Running P3 there in the start of the second stint, I'd lose them by about 6-7 tenths, and as soon as they'd get side by side, I would catch right back up. So obviously it was great for me to watch them race. I'd try to battle it out for the lead. Kind of had visions of myself taking it 3 wide and grabbing the lead away, but never quite got the opportunity there. Anytime I felt like I would have a run, it would get a little bit loose. And I'll be honest, I think I ran out of talent a few times. They were probably just a little bit better than me up in the top 3.
Well, nevertheless, new sponsor, new livery here tonight. Perhaps a return back to the podium. Is this starting to feel like a positive? I mean, you already took a victory here, so you've already punched your ticket into the playoffs, but it's starting to feel pretty positive towards the middle part of this season for Icon Cup Series.
Yeah, Trevor, I mean, I got to be honest with you. Running the league, and being part of the admin group here, kind of makes you want to behave a little bit better, right? Set an example for the rest of the drivers. So you've probably seen it when I run those NORA races. I'm a little bit more aggressive, tend to run up toward the front a little bit more often. And that's not been the case in Icon. So I kind of just said to myself, if I'm going to come here and show up to race, I'm going to show up to race. I'm going to stick it in there and try to get it up front as close as I can. So we went for it tonight. Obviously got into the 87 there in the last lap. I got to apologize to him. I did not mean to get into his left rear quarter. Move him out of the way a little bit. I thought I had a little bit more room than I did, and that was just a misjudgment on my part. But I'm happy with the podium. It's not the way I want to get him. I think the 87 probably deserved the spot there, but sometimes that's racing.
Well, a fantastic run to third, nevertheless, and of course, we're always so appreciative of the great job that you are doing here in the Icon Cup Series. So much work that goes on behind the scenes, not just yourself, but Nathan Finnegan and others who put in quite a lot of time. Who would you like to thank before we roll on with the broadcast?
Yeah, I always thank my team here at Detach House of Speed. It seems like the team's growing a little bit. We got a few extra guys, Hanover Fist and Kyle Vincent Gilbert joining us for the night, so it's good to chat with them as well. rest in peace to Kevin Gunther. Looks like he had an issue before the last green-white checker, but I think he'll be all right. My wife, for always supporting me. She's tuning in the last couple weeks, so it's good to have a fan out there. And you guys up in the broadcast booth, obviously appreciate everything you guys do and put on a good show week over week.
Of course, my absolute pleasure, and it's always exciting to watch Ryan Patty out there, whether it's here or now over in Nora occasionally. Always a great chance to watch some quality racing from yourself. So good luck with both running the show and with your racing out there for the rest of the season.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. So that is Ryan Patty, the head honcho here in the Icon Cup Series. He managed to get his way up there into that third spot. So perhaps back to the podium earning ways here in the Icon Cup Series. So I believe Christian, though, has managed to catch up with the guy who came home second on his debut here in the Icon Cup Series. I'm sure they have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, in his debut here for Icon, Vincent Arthur in the 34. We talked earlier today. You said maybe don't look for me for a win. I'm just out here to run. But you come in second, you get on the podium. So heck of a job there. You're showing off. Last week you did a great job in the booth, and now you come out here on the track. You do a great job there. So is there anything you can't do?
Man, I don't really know. I just try to be as versatile as possible, but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun racing with these guys. To come out tonight and be able to finish second. It's definitely not what I was expecting. I felt like we had top 5 speed tonight. I figured if everything went to plan, we were going to finish 4th there, but that yellow came out, and I figured, might as well try to throw a little wrench at things, take 2 tires, keep at least warm left sides on there, maybe help the handling of the car a little bit, but yeah, no, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised with the result. It was a lot of fun racing with these guys. They were absolutely blistering quick the first half of the run. I felt like I was able to keep up a little bit the further the run went on, but just got to play the strategy at the end and try to, get the best finishing position that I could. And I think second's probably the best I could have done. So, I'll take it.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row now we've had you up here in the booth for a podium finish. Of course, you're the most recent winner on VRN before tonight. So, speaking of Nora, you got the Indy Road Course coming up on Tuesday. I know that's your main focus since you're the points leader over there. Is there a possible win coming at Indy, do you think? Or you think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle?
I hope so. That's what I go into every race hoping for is a win. Road course racing seems to be my forte. When I originally signed up for this deal, I thought we were racing the road course, so it was a little bit of a surprise to learn that it was the oval. But just try to adapt and go into it with an open mind and try to learn as much as I could, as quickly as I could. And I felt like once I did that, I was all right. But yeah, no, road course racing for sure. That's one thing that I kind of circle on my calendars. So we'll look forward to Tuesday. I've been running a couple laps. I feel like I've got a pretty decent handle on it. I'm excited. I feel like this week and next week at Watkins Glen, there are 2 opportunities for me to shine. So try to take full advantage of it. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for the road course on Tuesday.
Now, is this going to be your last appearance in the Icon Cup Series? Or are you planning on running a few more races here? Or what's the deal for the rest of the season within Icon?
Within Icon, I had a lot of really good, respectful battles with a lot of people tonight, and I'm really, really pleased with just everything. I just had a really, really fun time. So definitely want to try to run more. I think I'm going to try to run next week, but I just learned today that something popped up in my schedule that I might not be able to make the start time for. So I do plan to run a couple more races here whenever my schedule allows it. But I had a really fun time tonight. Not a lot of times on the sim do you just get to go out and race for fun, and that was one of these races tonight. So just super thankful for the opportunity, super thankful to New Nutrition for hopping on board tonight. If you live in the Delaware, Delmarva area, 100% recommend going checking them out on Facebook for all your nutritional drink needs. Thanks for them to hopping on board. Thank you, Christian, for making this beautiful paint scheme for me. Thank you guys in the booth. Thanks for everybody who gives me this opportunity. And yeah, no, I'd love to do it again sometime.
Oh, you're so good in the booth that you already knew what I was going to ask you. I was going to say anyone you want to thank, but you already covered that. So doing my job very well for me. So thank you for that, and congrats on the podium here tonight, and good luck on Tuesday, man.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
And Trevor, I believe you caught up with our winner tonight, Brian Smith, in that number 78.
I did, and of course, I was going to point out that Vincent Arthur perhaps had the Hard Charger award, but even though he gained 14 positions, that wasn't even the most. Tanner Dio with 22 positions gained, Mike Jennings 19 positions gained, and Anthony Campbell with 16, Hanover Fist with 15. So some of these drivers really coming forward. Brian Smith, though, he only needed to come forward one position from second to first. He didn't take pole position, but Brian, you took the first stage, and you take the overall race win here at a very difficult track. Take the Brickyard 200, round number 6, and your second victory of the Icon Cup Series season. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Kind of got lucky on that one with late race strategy, and taking 2 tires at the end of the race there ended up being the right call, but I think it was just a matter of luck that a few guys did it with me. So glad it all worked out and got the win.
It was a phenomenal race between yourself and Justin Michael, and then Ryan Patty kind of climbing up into the mix there as well. Late in the race after these restarts, we saw Ronnie Norman. Was there a point, and also obviously Vincent Arthur getting up there towards the front as well, was there a point where you felt like, oh shoot, I don't know if I am going to win this race, or did you feel like you had something for these guys no matter what tonight?
No, it was over if a yellow didn't come out. There was no way I was touching Justin. I ended up going 1 extra lap than him on that green flag pit stop cycle we did, and that was a mistake. I should have tried to short pit as soon as that window opened, but in the end, I mean, if this thing stayed green all the way, there was no way I was touching him. He did a great job with the tire management, and anytime I got within a second, he was just, dirty air, and I couldn't do anything. So, but like I said, the 2 tires ended up being the right call and got it done.
Well, that was the right call out there tonight for sure. And yet at the same time, there were other drivers that also made the 2-tire call. Was luck a factor out there tonight? Again, with the yellow flag coming out when it did, put you in the perfect position, and certainly, for yourself out there to be able to do what others had done, but do it better. Did you just find yourself maybe with some of these other drivers not able to challenge you on those restarts? You were able to walk a little bit away off the front?
Yeah, like I said, luck was definitely a factor with the yellow. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't be talking to you guys with a first place finish. But I also used the outside lane on, I think it was the very final restart, and the reason I did that was because I wanted the 87 to be stuck behind P2, who was going to be starting inside right in front of him, who was on 2 tires with me. So I had to, think about that. That was a really risky call, taking that outside line, because if for whatever reason they were able to hang on and we were going into the first corner like that, I probably wouldn't have been able to hold on to it. But got a great launch, and he, it worked out perfectly. He ended up getting bottled up on the bottom, and it was just smooth sailing from there with clean air, and I think I finished with about a 1-second lead. So yeah, definitely some luck involved.
Well, Brian, it was a fantastic run to the checkered flag tonight, and it wasn't guaranteed until that last lap. Who would you like to thank for your victory?
I want to thank my teammates, Vincent, Jacob, Jovi. Those guys did a great job tonight. Certainly not Cody, because he didn't even show up. Want to thank the rest of the field. They did a great job keeping it green, and it was a lot of fun out there. Anytime you get to make green flag pit stops in these races, it's a blast. That's what our race league's for, and we certainly got to get some green flag laps in tonight, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed your passing out there tonight. Before I let you go, I do want to ask you, on our screen here, I think we've got, you managed to, I don't know if this is the right replay, but you did have a little bit of a hip check with Justin Michael coming into turn number 3 to make a pass. How do you feel about that pass, and do you feel like you gave him enough racing room?
Yeah, I came on the mic as soon as that happened. I told him, I said, I thought I gave you enough room, and he said, yeah, it was all good. So I'd have to watch the replay. I didn't really see a replay of it yet, but I certainly felt like I did. But like I said, it was all about the clean air, and I knew if he got it, he was going to drive away. So I was racing really aggressive, and there was a little contact. I'm glad it didn't affect him too much, and I know he ended up getting the lead on that battle. So I don't think that had any impact on the final outcome of the race. But yeah, that was I'll have to watch the replay on it. I'll have to judge it from there.
Well, an amazing run tonight. Congratulations. How you feeling about Watkins Glen?
Oh, I think I'll do very well at Watkins Glen. I'd be very surprised if I don't come out of there talking to you guys with another first place finish.
Wow. Well, you heard it here first. Brian Smith absolutely assured us that he'll take first place here coming up next week.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
Well, there you go. Congratulations again, and we'll look forward to seeing you get the hat trick here, taking one on a road course coming up next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yourself as well. So that is Brian Smith. Takes his second victory here in the Icon Cup Series in fantastic style. And, of course, we have our own thank yous to send out there to all of you who joined us here in our YouTube chat room for tonight's broadcast. We greatly appreciate it. If you're not already a subscriber, you'll want to be, because not only do we have the entire rest of the Icon Cup Series coming up, a great schedule, but tomorrow night, it's the playoffs time for the NORA Truck Series. It's time. The gloves come off. This is going to be it. So you'll want to catch us tomorrow night at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday night. And then Tuesday night will be the NORA Cup Series. And Christian, this was a heck of a race. We saw a brand new driver come out there in the Icon Cup Series and manage to get second place. We saw somebody who's already won take the top, and we also saw Ryan Patty, who has kind of been finishing a little bit further back, take third place. But this race kind of had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it certainly did. Typically, whenever you come to Indy Oval, it puts on a great show, and these guys proved it. But this week, man, 3 races in the Indianapolis area, but all 3 are different tracks. I absolutely love that. We go to IRP tomorrow night, a short track with the trucks, and then we go road course racing on Tuesday. So 3 different types of races, all in the same state here this week for us to cover, and I can't wait to see how those races go tomorrow and Tuesday. And this one, I got to say, it was interesting to hear Brian Smith call his shot. Now that might light a fire under some people to go out there and beat him.
It's like Brian. It's like the Babe waiting towards the stands, calling his shot. We'll get a chance to see whether or not Brian Smith can actually do it. I hope I can remember that come next week, but definitely remind me if I don't. Christian, it was a great one here tonight. We saw Brian take victory again. We might see it again next week, but tomorrow night, IRP, the gloves are off, playoffs begin. I can't wait, and I know you can't either. On behalf of myself and Christian Snyder here in the booth, and everybody who runs the Icon Cup Series, as well as all of the competitors, thank you so much for joining us here. Make sure to give a like to this video if you enjoyed the action and the commentary. We'll see you again tomorrow night for the NORA Truck Series, right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Until then, have a wonderful night. So long, everybody.